Good evening, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome. And just embracing our little world, embracing all that is beautiful about it, and embracing multiculturalism. It's about so many people, so many kinds of things, and such a beautiful environment that we can create together. So, if you actually ask for what multicultural education refers to, then the exact caption would be the learning of appropriate knowledge and skills related to the respect and appreciation of different cultures and other differences, which can include race, ethnicity, religion, gender, color, so many things that, there is diversity and beauty in. So, as we said, that which better place than India to actually, bring forward the unity in diversity? So many states, so many languages, so many flavors of food, so many kinds of clothes, and all in one country. So, if we keep moving from the country outward, look at what we have to explore. So, yes, let's start with our story. And as Pan always starts with a story, so today we have Pan and we have Mama. So, she's got Pan a gift. All right. So, he got his little gift and he started twirling it around. So, he started twirling it around. His mommy came and said, "Hi, Pan, what are you doing? Have you found your own country? Can your country be found?" So she told him, "This is how the earth looks. It's not flat like you see in the books." So Pan said, "Oh, really?" So she said, "Yes, it's got many kinds of countries. It's got many kinds of people, song and dance. We must learn about them if we have a chance." So do you know that there are so many other languages than the language we speak? Oh, and the number of cuisines and food around the world can be quite a tasty treat. Do you know, Pan? That's what she said. That do you know, Pan? Even the clothes that people wear can be so different. And Pan said, "Oh, really? Each one is different, but some things can be the same." So, in different countries, people can play a different game. Each greeting can be different. And just to say hello, how are you, can be a namaste, a sat sri akal, adab, and vanakkam too. And many more greetings that you have to learn all around the world. That is what Pan's mama told. And right? So we have to learn about them and enjoy it all the way. We can learn about one of them every day. We can cook things from around the country and learn how to taste them and enjoy them too. Then we can learn recipes from other countries too. People, clothes, food, stories, games are just a start. We can learn about flags, money, music, dance, and art. So many cultures and so much to learn. Come. And we must learn every day. We must learn to to enjoy knowing about them each day. So now Pan and Mama sit down together, and every day they explore and listen to stories of different parts. When Mama sometimes takes Pan to go and meet new people from different parts of the country, from different parts of the world, and Pan is really, really happy with that. So, creating that wonder in children, letting them know that it's so small here, but it's a big, big world. How many of us actually tell children stories with atlases? How many people would pick up an atlas and actually do a story with little children? There's this beautiful a concept of a little child traveling, and every time the child is traveling to some part of the atlas, and he asks his mama, have we arrived? So wherever he puts his finger or she puts her finger, that's the place they arrive. And then the mother researches, or the father researches, or the daddy, grandparents, and they talk to the child about different things, not just this is a country and this is a capital, because there's so much more than just the name, you know. When the child actually sees uh, the expanse, there is a curiosity, you know. And a very interesting conversation I was having with somebody, and she said that why don't you ask what if questions to children? So where do you stay? Okay, I stay in Delhi or Noida. Or so what if you were living in Mumbai? Then what do you think would be different there? What do you think people eat there? What do they like there? And let the child start imagining, thinking, maybe for slightly older children. A 3 year old may or may not, but 3 year olds who have traveled are amazing. They can actually come up with such beautiful stories even as soon as they come to school, you know. So I've been interacting with children in schools, and it's amazing how they absorb culture. It's amazing. So I remember this incident of two little children sitting together, and somehow I feel little children just accept different things with far more ease till they grow up and get conditioned to react in a particular way. So when adults have to deal with children, we have to remember that let's not condition them to unchild their reactions. Let them be natural. So, you know, when you have, this was many, many years back. My husband's in the army, so we travel a lot. And in one of the schools that I was, taking care of the activities, a child walked in from the hills. And by the time the assembly finished, the child removed his shoes, his shirt. He was absolutely from the interiors, removed the shirt and walked around the school. And every time we would go to the child, he was so agile. He would jump up on a tree, literally jump up on cupboards. And we just had two alternatives, right? Either we call the parents and tell them that you need to, or the nicest thing that happened was the children of his class started asking him to go and reach out to different things from trees. And suddenly I realized that, my God, let's not force this child to, become like the others, but let him be himself for a few days. It was amazing, the changeover. When he walked in, we would ask him, would you like to remove your shoes? Would you, kind of, if you want, you can wear a t-shirt, you can. So slowly, from being a child of the land, the child slowly, our children started climbing trees, and this child started wearing shoes and the proper uniform in a matter of about, I think, about 12 to 15 weeks. And this was with adult observation, not adult intervention. We were just observing and we were just molding and kind of, that was like a learning for me that, what if I had been forceful? What if I had punished this child? What if I had, punish would be harsh, but what if I had just gone on correcting this child? What would have happened? And look at what happened when I allowed children to accept children. It's amazing what they can do. So sometimes when we talk about embracing multiculturalism, I think children are the best examples because they don't know, they don't have a preconceived idea. Like adults will have a lot of preconceived notions, pre-decided ideas. A little child will not know all of that, so the acceptance is so beautiful. A simple thing like when you have meal time for children, some children will pick a meal with a knife and a fork, and some children will eat a lovely dal chawal with their fingers. And it's interesting that it's such a cross change, Slowly these children will start exploring, and those children will start exploring, and different ways of living will mix. So it is as simple as that. Uh, so what all do we have to think of? I think that's all we'll talk about, that what all do we have to think of. So whatever the composition of our classes, whatever our classes are built like, we first of all have to be aware that there are different people from different cultures and values, And we have to accept our children like that for them to accept all the others also. So, we also have this generalization when this is something we hear so often, yeah, that region is like that. That state, ऐसे ही होता है. This is happening, this is what happens. So, this is what preconceived ideas are. This is not an acceptance of the place. You're just generalizing, which is not a very nice thing to do if it is not positive, right? So a lot of positive generalizing in the sense that, yeah, there is this place, you get apples. This place, these festivals are celebrated. This place, this game is played. This is fine. But sometimes when we generalize character, I think that becomes a little uncomfortable. And so, and also in today's times, I think the way everything is so global, it's so important to just keep these connects. Helping children to learn to function successfully with different kinds of people. That you do, everybody doesn't have to be like you, but you have to. So I remember this very old saying, and there were times when I would come back and my father would tell me, it's not how many people can live with you, it's how many people you can live with. And I think I still held that very, very close to my heart, because I think it's so true about different cultures. uh, Developing positive self concepts in those children who perhaps unfortunately may have had experiences which have created some kind of a differentiation. We have to be conscious about that, because children do suffer this, children do face this. So be sensitive to it, be aware, just be conscious that this is there, and that child needs to be nurtured to be comfortable with the way he is, where he's from, what his background is, and everything about himself or herself. It's an important thing. Helping all the children to experience the diversity as well as similarities. So you can actually have this wonderful day when. So this is very interesting. I'm fond of music with children, So I use a lot of this damru. And somebody came visiting, and they bought a similar instrument from Africa. I said that you please have to give this to me. And I use this in my classrooms, and I tell teachers that music sometimes just has got no boundaries. And it's such a beautiful way to teach children that different parts of the world culturally can have similar instruments, similar beats at the same time. Very, very variable. There's this, when we clean rice, there is a soof. That's the sound that comes. And there is in the Caribbean, they actually move that soof with some kind of seeds to music. It was an amazing experience to see. I never ever had thought. And I then when I saw that music being done, I realized that when now you don't hear these beats so much, because everything is so ready made and packed. But I remember the beat with which they used to look at work with grain, rice or dals, or even something like peanuts. So imagine, look at the connections. So similarity and differences can be talked about in the simplest of ways. Simple musical instruments, food items that could be common, and then I think also to let children be experiencing this whole expanse of the world, even very early, talking to them, telling them that, so I'll do a small little activity with you on that. So eliminate stereotypes. It is like this. It is like this. These people do this. Because culture will change. Culture changes gradually with each moving, generation. Little bit of the essential culture changes. So why stereotype? Maybe just explore at that point and let the children, look at people in their own unique way. Stop offensive behavior on any differences, specifically on backgrounds right there in childhood. Let there not be. We see the kind of, so let's just not let that happen right from the beginning. Keep creating an awareness on self. So this has always been one of my favorite activities, where I've taken slips of paper. Each slip is 1 centimeter bigger than the other one. Normally, we can use circular cutting also, but I have used a rectangle, sort of a square cutting, because it's easier for you to organize this. You just have to cut squares starting from about, say, 6-7 centimeters to keep going to be a full A4 size width. And on the first one, when the children are really small, they place myself and they can draw themselves. The reason why I love this slip game is because you can keep adding slips here, and you just connect it with a little paper, paper clip for the children. So you start with myself. So you draw yourself, and after a few days, you can draw things that you like. You can draw your own friends. You can. So this myself slip can get wider and more and more. You can keep adding more and more slips, right? Then comes my home. So my home, then later it could be my friends' homes, it could be different kinds of homes, it could be, my home with my grandparents' home, maybe my cousin's home in maybe another country, another city. So the homes can get getting added as the children grow. Then comes my neighborhood. How does my neighborhood look? Then take them to a drive through the city and they can draw things of the city. Gradually explain to them that the city is in a state. See, these are 3-year-old, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-old. So you can actually, the amount you talk to the children, the amount you let them explore, that many things they can draw. So they may not be able to write, but they will be able to draw and express for sure, right? So then you come to the state and then you tell them that the state is in a country. So what's our country? What are the other countries around our country? What are the countries a little away from the country? Above our country? Oh, it's like this beautiful game that you play. It's a game where you put a world map on the floor, and then you play this beautiful game where you have to, take your country or put your hand on your on the country or on the ocean, and then you kind of move to different parts. So suppose I'll say go, and I put my hand on an ocean, so that ocean becomes mine. Then I can name the ocean. Or then I say, okay, go. Then I put my hand on the ocean. I prefer not using feet on these things, because somehow culturally I feel like, again, like we say, this is culture, right? We would not put our foot onto anything that we study. So that's culturally. Maybe somebody does it, which is fine. But I wouldn't do it. So what I used to tell children do is, I used to say, let's play a finger game. As much as your fingers expand, as you can put your hand and you can put your head. So different. Imagine even a game like that can be played differently. And then each time you take a country, especially the 7 and 8-year-olds, some of them can actually name it. They can talk about it. So it just becomes a fun activity of exploring. So this little set of slips can actually grow. Each time you observe a country, so state, my country, and my world, and then you can have a nice little earth right behind it on a big sheet. So if you want to know about more states, you can add more slips. Otherwise, you want to know about more countries, you can add more countries. So this becomes a very vibrant, nice tool, and make children put it into a folder, so the sheets don't get lost. And I remember, when there are children who have built this over a long period of time, long period. It could be even 2 classes, maybe class 1, class 2, UKG and class 1. And it surprises you that these things can be so beautifully kept. So a very nice way of teaching them. Another one of my favorite songs is from the Karadi Tales, sung by Usha Uttum, of course, sung by many other people also. But she has sung this beautiful song that says, my name is Badabi, I'm from Malapi, I speak Malayalam, and I'm just like you. So just imagine just the wonder of language, my name is so and so, I'm from Srinagar, I speak Kashmiri, just like, but I'm just like you, and I speak Bengali, and I'm just like you, and I speak Gujarati, even the languages of India. What a beautiful, way to do this. Outfits, food. So there's just a lot to do when we can connect with children and make it really beautiful, right? So that's one part that can be done so easily. So, as teachers, as adults taking care of this very global village, it's actually becoming small now, you know. The reach is so fantastic. And now the last whole year has shown us how we digitally can, you know, show a lot of things to children which we never explored earlier, right? So when we set comprehensive curriculums, the curriculums, that is why even the NEP is talking about diversity. It's talking about awareness. It's like saying, start with your local, you know, like even the pictures we use in books. Now, we can't use pictures in books for every state, right? But the children can actually look around them and do a lot of free expression. I think that becomes a big added on important part of every curriculum. Range of topics, the topics to change. You know, we do a lot of birds and animals and flowers and fruits and all. I think we should do a few more of people. You know, we don't cover that range as much as I was actually sitting down and reviewing normal curriculums when I was planning today's program, because you need to read, you need to study, you need to look at even what you want to design. And I realized that, you know, how little time we really give a curriculum for helping children to understand people. You know, so they know 5 fruits, 5 vegetables, 5 domestic animals, 5 wild animals. But look at what the world needs today. It actually needs us to be conscious. It needs us to share. I think nothing like what has happened in the last year has ever happened in the last whole century, where everybody through the world is facing a similar situation. You're understanding how many things are same and how many things are different. And music is coming to so many people's rescue. Art is coming to so many people's rescue. And how much have we actually put it into the early years curriculum? So there is scope to do it. If you are already doing it, it's wonderful. But if you are not, please remember there is huge amount of scope to bring in music and art as well. So that's like another very wide range of tools, because imagine music could be so many kinds of music and so many kinds of resources. So we should plan it formally. Also, the way we set up our classrooms, you know, in my as I travel the country, I have hardly ever seen a world map or a map or a talk on, you know, so many places to early years children. So it's a scope, you know. It was quite strange. When I helped to design one of the segments of the atlas, the atlas was picked up as an EVS course book by one of the schools. It actually surprised us as well, you know. And so I asked them that, you know, it's like an atlas. So she said, yeah, but on one page, I can teach the children so many kinds of things, which I can't do in an EVS book. In an EVS book, if the lesson is on family, it's on family. Whereas when I open a map, I can talk to the child about the way different families live, the way different homes in different parts of the country and then the world are. So she, by taking a atlas as an EVS course book, just expanded her own horizon and her canvas of what she takes to the children. And I think that was like the first time when I actually looked at the atlas and I said, wow, even me who was, what I loved about doing an atlas was I love collecting stories from different parts of the country and the world. Because stories are distinctively such a beautiful way of expression. You'll find, you know, a gulmohar tree somewhere, and you'll find a fir tree somewhere. You'll find a tree, you know, so even in the story, there'll be tulips somewhere, there'll be jasmine somewhere. Even in the fruits that you describe in the stories, in the way people are dressed in the stories. So it is such a beautiful way of teaching children different cultures, you know. So the children running in the fields, where on the side there are mango trees, Then, so you can actually make them descriptive. There were fields with sugar cane, and the children were skirting here and there, and then one hit down. And so, look at the wonder of each different region that you create, rice fields, just, and then tell them about that place that, a lot of this grows in this area. And this grows in another area. This is an area where cotton grows, and you can do a story on cotton clothes. Where do you get your cotton clothes from? Because this area grows cotton for you, and So imagine when you say multiculturalism, there is so much in a culture. It could be food, it could be clothing, it could be the music, it is the greetings. So the expanse is tremendous. So, like I said, that when I introduce the atlas to the children, and when I kind of work in with them, I love to tell them, what if we lived here? What if we lived here? What if we lived there? What if we lived there? So the what if adds to a lot of happy fun. Now, another thing that teachers can actually do is to create really nice themes. So you can, when you do thematic learning, many times we want to include everything in the theme, the maths, the English, but thematic learning can just have the domains. You don't have to do that particular letter or that particular number, but in a thematic process, you can do a theme, and in that you can cover language and emotional development and etc. etc. And some of the themes which can be done in the early years, which would lead to an understanding of different cultures over a period of time, could be something as simple as, I have friends, my friends and my habits. So a whole discussion on habits. My friend and mine, or my brother and mine, my sister and mine, our favorite things we like to do, things we like to play, things we don't like. Our feelings, give a situation, let the children have their own feelings. How do we celebrate our festivals? So festivals and celebration, festivals and food, festivals and clothes. Whom all do we meet? What are the words we use during those festivals? All this is a part of the base culture of any society, right? So if we talk about it, and obviously if they're children from different environments, they will be saying different things. That is why this concept of circle time is so important in a classroom. Because otherwise, it is more structured work that we are doing through the day. But during the circle time, we can actually do very, very unstructured, creative work, which actually can help us to reflect so much. Once in a week, once in a month, do cuisines, get parents involved, get different kinds of, sometimes when I travel, I used to travel a lot. I do miss that a lot. But when I travel, there used to be, I used to come across people who would look at me and say, I can't eat this kind of food, because your taste buds are not developed to eat different kinds of food. So you look at it and say, I don't know how these people eat it every day. Yep, that's their staple food. That's how they will eat it every single day, right? So suppose you are in maybe coastal areas, you will eat what that area provides, right? So don't go to a coastal area and say, oh my God, I don't like this food. No, that's their staple food. So if we give their taste, we give the ears, we give their eyes, a variation of things, they will learn how to absorb it better. That's my take about being acceptance, having an acceptance of different cultures and processes. Because what I show in my child's immediate environment, the way I set up my classroom, the way I expose my children to experiences, will make the ear, the taste, the flavors, the heart get connected to different processes. People who have traveled the world will have their meals with more ease. They will know that you don't go very close in certain cultures. They know that in certain cultures you will hug. In certain cultures you will just bow. In certain cultures, you will not make eye contact. They will know about all of that. And when they go to that place, they will display a respect for that region. I remember when I used to travel, I used to try to take one thing from that region. So suppose I was somewhere in Chennai, I would definitely try to walk in with flowers in my hair, because I would want to experience what all those beautiful teachers would be experiencing when they would put flowers in their hair. Small things like that, but it was beautiful. Each place had its own, way of working. There are certain groups I used to work in Kerala with. So because they used to be fully clad, the arms. So I used to just see that. Suppose I do that. How does it feel? And it was so wonderful that when I would go, there would be certain kinds of food items I would carry from where I live, and they would all look forward to it. And they would say, "Oh my God, it's been a whole year and we've been waiting for this." And I would wait for what they have to make and get for me. So I think my own traveling, my own way of being, and as a teacher also, because of this of traveling, of the army is another fantastic place in India where there is so much of diversity. Every classroom will have children from just so many places. So you learn how to just be a part of that and enjoy it without too much of an inhibition. So I can dance to this music and I can dance to that music, and I can just enjoy all kinds of music, all kinds of food. It's such an important thing. Outfits, wear different outfits and enjoy them. Just it's such a big wide world. And most importantly, feel very proud of what is your culture. What is the way, now today, after doing this whole thing, we are all talking about, taking our shoes outside. Yeah. We're talking about a namaste. We're talking about washing hands really carefully and, just being very cautious. We are talking about, doing sanitizing the house. And earlier, people did all of that. There would be this little prayer in the evening where the whole house would be, they would have different kinds of fumes, and they would actually move around the house. They would ring bells for good luck. The shoes were always left outside. The toilets were never inside the household. They were all always. So imagine this was an essential part of our cleanliness, of the way we lived as people. And then we changed, right? But today, when we are having to revert back to certain basics, we are doing it, and we're doing it and understanding why was this done. Maybe there was a sensible reasoning to it. Also, research with children. It's fun to do that. Why do you think this is happening? Let's read about it. So the other day, there was somebody I know who was working with, the bridal kaliras. There are these little things that hang on the hands of brides. And she discovered that they used to be, now they're very fancy and beautiful, but they used to be made of edible things like coconut and dry fruits. Now, why was that done is because when the bride went to another place and she can't ask for food, she could actually use it to eat. We didn't know this, right? But you research it and you find it out. So it's fun. Research is important. Experiences are important. Our curriculums to be a little wider, very, very important. Music is very important. Rhythm is very important. And very important to give this child, this little world, to just embrace each part of it. Each part, each culture is special, and make them understand that. I think the world would be a much happier and joyful place to be in. So I do hope that we keep loving our own culture, we keep sharing it, we keep learning, and we grow our classrooms with a lot of vibrance. So thank you all, and I'm going to see you next week with another very interesting topic. But what I'm going to actually tell you about is the week after that, we are going to be bringing in somebody really interesting. So somebody who's traveled the whole world. So this will continue in a week after the next week, right? So thank you all and have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Stay safe. Just stay safe, everybody, all over the world. I think this is one of the messages that you send through the world, that we all need to be safe, we all need to vaccinate, we all need to wear our masks, and we all need to wash our hands, and we all need to share all our basic happiness, our rhythms, and our music and art with everybody. Thank you so very much. Bye bye.
Square, square, panda.